Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to run through a quick tutorial on AWS Lab 5, adding EC2 virtual machines and deploying the web app. First log into the AWS Management Console and then Identity and Access Management. Here we're going to go to Policies and create a new policy. Policy Generator, Allow is the effect, and the service we want is the DynamoDB service. Actions will be delete table, describe table, get item, put item, and update item. And then we're going to add our ARN of our DynamoDB database that we've already previously created. Once that's added, we want to then add another service. We're going to add the SQS service and then select the following actions. Delete message batch, get queue URL, receive message, send message, and send message batch. And now we're going to grab the ARN of our SQS and paste that in there and add that to the policy. Next, give the policy a name. You can choose whatever you'd like. For my name, I'm just going to go lab policy. After creating the policy, you want to go to roles. You likely won't have any roles there, so you create a new role, give it a name. Choose the Amazon EC2 role type. And now we're going to find the policy we already created. To do so, go custom manage policies and then find it and tick it and click next. We can see that was a policy we made just before. And then we go create role. We're now going to create an EC2 instance. The first one's going to be a web server. So open up the EC2 instance page in the management dashboard and we're going to launch an instance. Choose Windows Server 2012 R2 base. Make sure you choose the free tier eligible one. Also choosing the free tier eligible T2 micro flavor of instance. Now here we want to leave everything else default, but we want to change the AIM role to the role we previously just created. Now go through to add storage. There's nothing needs to be changed here, so carry on and just give it a tag. It's going to be a web server, so something along those lines. Next. And now here we're going to create a new security group. Give the group a name. And then we're going to add some roles. The default rule that will already be there is an RDP rule. This allows traffic using the RDP protocol. We want to change the anywhere to your IP or a custom IP if you know it, or behind a firewall that will block it. And you also want to add a rule for HTTP traffic, which will be automatically port 80, and this is to be anywhere. Now quickly check the launch configuration. Everything's as it should be. Carry on and launch the instance. However, make sure you have access to the key pair you selected when launching the instance, as you'll need this for the next exercise. We're about to do the exact same thing again for the queuing server instance. The only difference is here we'll create a new security group specifically for the server, and it doesn't need to have HTTP access, just RDP. After your instances have launched, you'll need to connect to them. First, you'll need to get the Windows password, which you need to provide the key pair you used earlier. I've already done this and saved them to a text file. You should do this now. Next, you want to download the remote desktop file, but before launching it, go to the in folder view wherever you download it to and edit it. We are going to mount a shared drive so that we can then access our various files from Visual Studio. For me, I'm going to choose this RAID drive here, but for you, it's wherever you've got access to. Save the settings for later use and then log in. Ignore the warnings and provide the password that you just got earlier. Once you have access to your web server through the RDP protocol, we're going to add some roles. Go to Server Manager, Manage, Add Roles and Features, then Next, 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 down to Server Roles and Web Server. You can see I've already installed them, but you will need to install them as they won't be there. You will also need to install the .NET Framework 3.5 and 4.5. Head back to Visual Studio and you're going to want to publish the DynoStore project. Yours may look different here, but essentially you want to make sure you publish it as a website and you want to publish it to somewhere where you can access it. Ideally to the drive you shared to your RDP client before. Back on your web server instance, access the shared drive and where you put the published DynoStore. Copy this to C drive inetpub ww root. You can see mine's already in here. Now head back to your AWS management console and we're just going to modify the security groups. So EC2 instances, then down to security groups, and then find your RDS default security group that created when you first created your database. I've already done it, but you'll need to add all traffic going to a custom IP, and that's the two security groups you previously created when you launched your two instances previously. Now head back to your web server instance and you're going to go to where you copied the DynoStore published website and edit the web config. And once you're in there, you're just going to remove your AWS keys. Now search for the IIS manager. I've pinned it to the taskbar for easy use later. Say no and then go to Sites, Default Website, and you'll see DynoStore. You want to convert this to an application. Then right click on it and switch to content mode. And right click on default.aspx and browse. Now you should see your website. And everything should work as expected. Now head back to your local machine and you're going to try and access your website through its public DNS. It all should work the same. Head back to Visual Studio and now we're going to publish the order processor project. It's pretty much the same as we did before with the DynoStore. Save it to your shared drive and then we're going to access it from the queue processing machine. We now need to RDP into our queue server. This is the exact same process we did with our web server, but obviously the password will be different, so you'll have to go through the get password procedure again. And also don't forget to edit the RDP file to access the shared drive so we can grab our order processor that's just published. Once you've successfully RDP'd into your queue server, go into the shared drive and copy the order processor onto the desktop. We're going to go into the order processor and set it as a startup program. To do so, we need to put a shortcut in the local disk C, program data, Microsoft Windows Start Menu, Programs, Startup folder. You may need to enable hidden items before you do this though. Once you've copied the shortcut there, we then will run the order processor application. You'll see it will start polling as it did when you ran it on your local instance. After doing this, head back to your local machine and access the DynoStore again. We're just going to quickly process an order and then check our queue server to make sure the message has been polled, deleted, and then the order has been sent to the database. You'll see it has, and now if you check your MySQL database, there will be a new order in the orders table. Thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful. Goodbye.